Hello everyone, Rebecca Thompson here. So good to be here live. Today I've got a special guest with us, the beautiful Wendy. And I want to share a little bit about what we're going to be doing here today. Some of you may or may not have seen an interview I did last week with another of our Beacons, Vera. We had several technical issues with us talking over each other and all of that. So we decided to be in the same room today while we work out some of that challenge. But the reason I wanted to share these interviews with you is to show you what is real. There's a lot of myths and sugar-coatedness around the journey of personal development, around the journey of spiritual development that can put people off from embarking on that journey. And it can also make it look a little shinier, let's say, than it is. And, you know, life is a journey. We know that. When you're on a personal spiritual development journey, yes, things get more expansive. You know, ease comes into your life. Stress goes away. But you also feel those big feelings that you've been numbing for years or staying in the comfort zone of for years or been too afraid to look at for years. And so that can be challenging. And subliminally, that's a lot of reasons why we might not want to embark upon a journey of personal development, because there are these sort of underlying fears about what it means to actually create that change in our life, the risk around that. So who better to talk to rather than just me on that journey? It's the number of people on that journey who have been with us, and Wendy's been with us a couple of years, in our Beacon journey, and get real with what life was like before, what life is like on this journey, and what life is like now. Not that we're at the end of the journey, but just to really get real about this whole thing and to inspire hope. Because I think, again, number one biggest reason why people don't invest in themselves around creating change is because they don't think they can change. Other people can change, but they can't. I don't know if you ever felt that. Wendy, did you ever feel that at any time in your journey, that everyone else can change but I can't?
Yeah, I did. I still do a lot of the time at different times. Yeah, but I had known that I wanted change for a long time, and I'd worked with professionals for many years to try and improve myself and be a better person and feel better. I had a lot of anxiety and worry and time in my head looking for things and wondering about things and searching for things and why is it hard and I want it to be easy and how can I make it easy, and just going around and around and around in my head. And never feeling like anything was really changing. Doing a lot of work, exhausting work, internal work and cognitive behaviour therapies and other things, exhausting, but never really feeling like I was getting anywhere.
Getting any traction.
No change happening. No feeling different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know we hear that a lot, and you've heard that a lot because Wendy's been with us for how long? Like maybe 2.5
Coming up to 4 years.
Coming up to 4 years.
Yeah.
So let's backtrack a little bit and share as much as you want to about what that struggle was in you. Like how do you know you need help? Because I know a lot of people are maybe in a similar position to you, maybe not identical, and we're so used to, as humans, like numbing that discomfort, that underlying struggle, that underlying unease or traumas or whatever it is. So what was actually showing up like for you, and what were maybe some of the contributing factors, do you think?
I think I felt misunderstood a lot of the time, and I knew that I had so much love and softness and ability to see things much more simply than it felt like I was living my life. Everything was complicated. Everything was hard, and I didn't have that many. I didn't find it easy to have friends, make friends, keep friends, was constantly questioning myself and other people and second guessing and looking around corners all the time. What I know now is that was trying to protect me, not feeling safe in myself, not feeling confident about who I was, what I had to offer. Everything was a struggle. It was just, everything was hard, but I wanted to be a nice person, and I wanted to feel joy, and I wanted to feel more peace, and just for things to be less difficult and to be less in my head and less worrying about things.
And that seems to be it, isn't it? Is that we spend so much time in our head. Do you feel like that's just, if you were to put it down to one thing, that's where the struggle is, to sort of get out of your head? Would you put it down to that?
Absolutely, to get out of my head, but only knowing how to use my mind in all of my efforts to do it differently. All I knew was how to use my mind for that. Yeah. That's how the therapies were working. That's how the self-help books wanted you to do it, is question everything and more time in your mind. And I wanted less time in my mind, I guess, because it wasn't really helping me change anything or feel different.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because we talk a lot about the embodiment path, and these words can be bandied around, and often we don't really understand what that is until we fully get an experience of it, because so much self-help stuff, like you say, is still going through that cognitive change or mindset change, and it's all good to talk about that, but what if we can't actually create that change? And what I found is that it's the embodiment work that really creates that change. Can you share a bit about, so you share that you've done some cognitive behavioural therapy, had you done some psychotherapy or?
Yeah, I'd done some hypnotherapy and some, all sorts of therapies through psychology and clinical psychology and psychiatrists. I was medicated for major anxiety disorder and depression. I was self-medicating. I was exhausted and sick of myself, and self-medicating just to numb things out and give myself a break. That's when I found you. Was not in a great place in myself. Not in a good place. And a friend invited me along to a seminar. It was the 19th of February 2019, and I went along to a seminar, and you demonstrated about your energetic boundaries, and it was the first time that I had a sense of feeling where my edge was, and how when I'm interacting in my life, walking in the world, where my edge can be, and that I'm in control of that. And it was a really profound awakening, or an awareness that I had never understood or felt before. And I knew, instinctively I knew, that this information was going to change my life, and the journey started there.
It did. And for the others that might not understand like that, we don't have to talk about the whole light globe journey and the whole energetics of it, but from that one practice, and I totally know what you mean, it's a fundamental part of our foundations, but what did you realise about what you'd been doing, how that had been affecting you, maybe not knowing about that up to that point?
I guess it's about the sense of things. When you meet somebody, you may have, I do. I have a sense of them, or a sense of right or wrong or good or bad, and it's not something that is about a tick list or a mind thing. It's a sense of it, and that energy, that energy that is all around us that I'd never known about, really, and never known how to feel it or use that for my own sustenance, or for a way to express myself and connect with both myself and other people.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And I know because I worked with you, and I know you for a bit, that you also shared that you would allow a lot of other people's stuff like into your space, into your energy. So I know that a lot of people relate to that. Like a lot of people on this live, a lot of people that follow are sensitives, yes? And we can take on a lot of other people's stuff if we're not very aware of that energetic boundary. And what can happen is that for everyone out there, you can shut down yourself, right, and put the wall up because you have experienced that before, of being drained by other people's energies. Was that something that you...
I think at different times I felt a lot from other people, but then at other times I was also overreaching and like grasping in an effort to connect and be understood, and potentially that was in fact pushing people away or making me feel clingy or too much, or too much. So I feel like that I wasn't able to make those meaningful connections because I didn't have an understanding and a felt sense of how all that was going to work and play out. Totally. So that's one aspect of like learning our energetic kind of container and how that helps us show up in the world, how that helps us protect us in the world without having that hard edge, understanding how we interplay in the world. If there was something that generally that you could kind of see what the difference was with the way that we approach things, for example, in our Beacon program, compared to the shifts or the not shifts you were feeling with some of the other work. It's not to say that the other work is not good. It's just that, we need different things. What would you say the main difference was for you? That might be a hard one to answer. Well, what I know to be true is that everything I actually need for my wellness and my peace and my motivation and everything that I need is actually already within me. And I did not know that. I did not know that all I really need to do is to sit with myself and listen for the divine breadcrumbs that are there for us, that can help show us the way if we're open. And I had a lot of fear in my body, like in my body physically, holding on, protection. I had a lot of fear, in my mind about, I have a PTSD diagnosis, so there has been some trauma, and I was holding all of that. But actually all I needed to do was to build a safe container within myself and then know that I can sit with any of that fear or any uncomfortable feeling at any given moment, and it can't consume me. I remember in the very early days feeling like it may overtake me. I may not actually come out the other side if I let myself feel the fullness of this pain or fear. But it can't. It's just a thing moving through, and that, I can hold myself through that. I don't need to seek a relationship or a therapist or anything else. I can do that for myself.
And that's just so...
It's changed my life. But the spiritual dimension to the work that we do together, the knowing and the trusting in something bigger than our individuality and our humanness, the trust in the divine, and feeling that connection and knowing that I'm actually held on so many levels in my being.
And that you are that.
And
also that. It's
connecting with all of that is just so beautiful and has been the greatest gift to myself, and I do feel at the age of 52 that really I'm starting to live the fullest life that I've ever lived, and that I'm in the best health energetically, emotionally, physically, spiritually that I've ever been in. So it feels like life's just beginning, really.
It is just beginning.
So much ahead.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I know so many people relate. And I want to just circle a little bit back, because that thing that you said about so many people, and you yourself, was afraid of sitting with our uncomfortable feelings because we think they're going to like swallow us or overwhelm us. And I totally relate to that. Like, I would have been in that place as well. And that's why we numb, right? That's why we drink. That's why we shop. That's why we do so many things so often. And yet, and we can have that feeling of our pain swallowing us whole when we buy into the story of it and get into the whirlpool of it and just keep feeding it with all that mental stuff, right? And yet what Wendy was sharing is that you know, with this work, we're teaching you how to really stay embodied and really present with that, so that you don't go into that spiral, so that you can allow the movement of that feeling through, and that's how it doesn't consume you. And that's how you learn to build this strong container within yourself and realize the truth of who you really are, you know, this divine nature in this human body right here, right now. And that's how you open up to this next level of your life, right? Which is really exciting. Things are really blossoming and shifting for you.
The other thing, if I could add there, is one thing that has been such a relief with this work is that the story is irrelevant. What has happened to me, all of the story as to why I am here, who I am right now, is actually irrelevant because it's happened, and sure, it's formed a part of who I am and how I might respond to some things and all of that, but in the healing work, I haven't had to go into the story. I haven't had to keep going around and around and untangling it all to try and make sense of it and question it. Is it true? You know, did that, all of that stuff that I found I was doing with the other therapies, this is actually just about healing from the inside out. And that has just been such a relief to, for that to be the journey, not all the head stuff.
I can feel the relief of that in my body,
exhausting,
right?
Questioning everything.
And trying to work it out. Because the mind can't work it out. Mind can't work out why something happened. And, you know, it's like, no. Let that mind stuff go. It is what it is. And sure, some of the things come up to be seen, but it's not about digging through those stories and breaking through those stories. It's about feeling what's there and seeing what comes up. If there's anything we need to know, then we need to know it. But, I love that. So some people might be curious about, okay, so if all I need to do is to drop in and be present and all of that, why have you been with us for 3 or 4 years? Because this is a journey you can stay with. Like with our Beacon community, you can do a 3-day, you can do a year, and there's an invitation to stay with us for a very low kind of cost repeat, so that you can just keep going deeper. But I'll let Wendy explain, well, what does that really mean in real terms to go deeper if all we need to do is sit and be present to ourselves?
Because there's layers and... Well, I'm in this community because these women now are my friends and my family, and the soul connections that we've made in journeying through in this work together, and seeing each other blossom and start the new journey and everything. Like, we're friends. It's just so beautiful. So we love connecting and staying in touch. So the community is beautiful for that. But the work, when we repeat the work, because it's layers. So at the beginning, I dealt with these things, you know, that you might say are more on the outside, and now I'm going to some really, you know, deeply held things, or so there's always something else to be revealed that opens up yet another possibility or another something else that has not yet been seen. So the work never ends, really.
And then what does that, because it's like we go in, and then my experience is as we go in and we reveal and we perhaps heal or dissolve these limitations, it's like a space opens
up. There's so much space then for something new. And I just feel now like the possibility of me having a second career, or starting a new path with I've enrolled in some study next year, and I feel like that's possible because I've created some space, because I'm not stuck in all of what was defining me before, what I felt was defining me before. And so I've opened up space and possibility and see things with really different eyes.
Because I remember you said to me the other day that something along these lines, you can do correct me, around that you didn't realise that there was anything else like for you, or that you could be someone outside of what your past had been.
And I was so broken when I left my career after 28 and a half years doing one thing since I'd finished school, and I just felt so broken that I wasn't sure I was going to ever pick myself up to a point where something else could actually really get some traction, and that I would have either the mental capacity or the will you know, even to take on something new. But it's so exciting. A bit scary, but so exciting.
All good things
because
are.
of course I haven't picked a thing that's just, you know, this big. I've picked a thing that has unlimited potential and possibility. So yeah, but I just didn't know that I'd ever be back in this place, starting something new and feeling excited again about something new. Yeah.
And it's okay to have a bit of fear.
Yeah.
Like we always say, you know, in the Beacons that like fear's just, it's like a whisper away, isn't it? An edge, away from the excitement. And as long as that excitement is there, as long as the heart feels full, there's a heart's desire, then fear's always going to be there. And it's getting friendly with that, which you've been getting so good at.
Yep.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah.
And I know that you could probably all tell, because could tell from the minute I saw Wendy that heart had a lot to do with helping others in the world. And I know that's going to be made so much more possible now. Yeah, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to share? You have so much wisdom yourself. If you had a message for anyone that was maybe in a similar situation to you, maybe even only a couple of years ago or even 5 years ago, and they're sitting with that, do I, don't I? Do I have the courage for this? What's the point that I make that change? Or
I would just say that what I feel about this program is that it's at every level. What I loved about it right from the outset is it is a lot about honouring our feminine strength and creativity and ability to transform many things, including ourselves. I love that it's about our divine femininity, but it's at every level. And so my physical body has changed. My emotional body has changed. My mental body has changed. I'm clearer and calmer. My energetic body has changed. People meet me who haven't seen me for a long time and say, I feel different and I look different and I am different. And so anybody who's looking for any level of change in their life, it can happen here because it's just multi-dimensional what we do here, and that it's not about getting the mind to fix it, because that's actually not possible.
So you can let go of your mind. Everyone.
It's all encompassing, and it could help any person who's genuinely interested in creating change in their life and who's willing to make that connection with our divinity and our higher power, or whatever it is that you want to call it, the universe or Mother Earth or whatever it is. If you're someone that knows there's something bigger than us out there that's got a little hand on our back helping us see the way, then this is going to work, and this is where you want to be. And we're amazing women.
You are amazing.
Hang out with us.
We're all very amazing.
You want to hang out with us.
And I know that, you know, as the sort of founder of all of this, it's really humbling to be a witness to all of you. And I'm so celebrating you right now, because Wendy, I think, was kind of in Beacon before it was in the form that it is in now. I was doing some one-on-ones with a retreat kind of package. And now, as you know, it's like a whole year program with 3-day immersions and all of that. So you've really been with us from the start and seen that evolution, which is, it's incredibly humbling. And it's kind of a train that we've started, and it's growing.
And we're all helping each other grow now. It's extraordinary.
Totally. It's a container where I get to grow and I feel safe to keep expanding into myself, and then that ripple effect comes out into all of the women and all the community, and we get to all celebrate each other. So we are very much celebrating you at the moment.
Thank you.
Yeah, totally.
Off to India next week for the first step of the journey.
So exciting. And I know that this right here is an edge as well of showing up on screen and live, and all of that, all of the possibilities that can happen here online, which is always a lot of fun. A little bit of a challenge. So thank you for embracing that as well, and showing up for everyone that is going to potentially watch this in the future.
Divine timing of us having planned this for today.
Exactly. Yes.
It's always perfect.
Always. We trust in divine timing. 100%. Well, thank you, my darling.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm just going to pop on here, if I can, We've got a low volume. Oh, well, hopefully it's not too bad on here. I'm just going to pop in here if anyone is curious about reaching out. And I'm going to pop a little link on here about where you can reach out and find out a little bit more about what we do here in the Beacons. And we're going to continue to try and improve our tech end. Awesome. All right, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for checking in with us. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.